Gautam, 7 days back, you won a World Cup. There was a time when that match, West Indies versus South Africa, if that match did not go our way, the result did not go our way, things could have gone south. In such pressure situations, what do you tell your players? Because that Zimbabwe game and all of a sudden again, that high risk, high reward quality of cricket, and then India scoring 250, smashing every opposition. It was high risk, high reward. What was your message to your boys in the change room?
Look, it has been very clear from day one. I think it wasn't the message during the World Cup, it was a message that started probably 18 months back, and the message was the tougher the game, the more aggressive we're going to be. I think we're not going to be scared of losing the game to win a game. Because many times you feel that if it's a knockout game or if it's a crunch game, what if this happens? What if we lose the game? What's going to happen? I think when you're living on the edge, make sure that you get even more ultra aggressive, and that was one of the reasons why guys could get 250 against Zimbabwe, could chase 195 against West Indies, and then got 250 in the semis and the finals as well. This message was exactly very simple, that I think come the big games, come the crunch games, let's try and be even more aggressive.
I mentioned the Surya example. Last year, the Surya Kumar Yadav that we know, it was not the best year for him. You kept backing him as captain, as player. I will say the same for Abhishek. I'll say the same for many other players. Varun. That's been a constant with Gautam Gambhir. Can you tell me a little bit about that? The philosophy of yours, that you've backed players when they have not been at their best.
Look, I've said it before as well, that you don't pick a squad on hope. You pick a squad on trust and faith. And if you pick a squad and players on trust and faith, you don't lose trust or faith within a span of 3 or 4 games. And I've always had trust in the entire squad that was sitting in the dressing room, and I've always believed that the best squad is the squad that is actually picked on trust. And I had, in fact, all of us, not only me, why should I say I think all of us in that dressing room, all the 30, 35 people had trust on each other, and that was the reason why we could keep backing people like Sanju, people like Abhishek, because we knew that come the big games, I think someone who's done really well over the period of last 18 months, he is allowed to go through tough phase. He's allowed to go through a tough couple of games, and never at any stage we thought that, okay, what if he doesn't fire? We always had that belief that he will fire, and eventually came the big game and he fired. And that's the reason why I say that irrespective what happens, I think there has to be a lot of faith and trust in that dressing room.
In an interview with me, you had mentioned about 2014 when you went through that trough, 0-0-0 and then 1 for KKR, the IPL of 2014. Was that a reference point when Abhishek Sharma was going through that tough? Because you've been there, done that. It was you, according to you, I'm quoting you, you said that was when you felt pressure, not playing Pakistan. But that was the only time when you felt genuine pressure. Was that a reference point?
Look, Bori, I'll tell you one thing. I think people don't understand the difference between out of form and out of runs. Out of form is when you've played 20, 30 deliveries and you've not been able to play those 25, 30 deliveries well. If you ask me, Abhishek was never out of form. He was actually out of runs. And you see, even when he got, he didn't score a run in the first 3 games of the World Cup, I felt that he was batting beautifully in the nets as well. And it was just a matter of time, him spending, 15, 20 balls in the middle, and he would fire. And that's the reason where I think when you're looking things from outside, you start looking at runs as form. But for us, in the dressing room, we feel that it's out of runs, it's not out of form. And that's the reason why we could back him, and eventually he came good.
Let me just take you back a little bit, because this is a deep dive. We don't get to do this. Take the Asia Cup. You are playing Pakistan 3 times in a matter of 2 weeks against the backdrop of tremendous political tension, and all of us knew there were Pakistani shenanigans going on, Mohsin Naqvi's tweets and all of that. We felt the tension in Dubai. We were like, if India loses, what happens? Our Prime Minister was tweeting about it. In such a situation, Gautam, it's a game, but it became much more than a game, and you were at the center of it. What do you tell your boys? How do you handle India-Pakistan?
Look, again, I think the message was very simple, that you don't play the emotions, you play the game. The moment you play the emotions, obviously it's going to get tougher for you as well. So all the message was conveyed to the boys were that let's try and control what we can control. And when we talk about control, you must have heard this saying, try and control the controllables. The only thing that you can control is probably that one particular delivery. Stay in that moment. What is going to happen before and what's going to happen after is not in your hands. So rather than thinking that about the outside noise, the political stuff and all that stuff, I think let's try and play the game the way game is supposed to be played. Let's try and be ruthless on the field. And more importantly, once the game is finished, let's try and be humble.
when you say that, I mean, it is you're also human. You and I have exchanged messages on this. There was a tweet by you that, you know, people are trying to put your players against you. Something like that. I don't remember the exact phraseology of that tweet. Clearly, it refers to Virat and Rohit. Trolls, outside noise, all of that. There is so much talk. Oh, X is against so-and-so, Y is against so-and-so. You guys share the same dressing room. You're winning matches for India. How do you deal with that? That the head coach is against a senior player, a Virat Kohli, a Rohit Sharma. Obviously, there is pressure. How do you deal with such comments?
Look, you made a very valid comment that I'm human. Yes, I am human, and I should be allowed to make mistakes as well. Well, just like anyone else as well, players should be allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I must have made mistakes in the last 18 months. I don't shy away from that, but I've always believed in one thing. Wrong decision with right intent is acceptable, but wrong decision with wrong intent is absolutely not acceptable in that dressing room. And everyone, be it in this room as well, people should be allowed to make mistakes. Why shouldn't cricketers be allowed to make mistakes? I think they're humans as well. And that's why I say that the question that you asked me, for me, I think it is very simple. Till the time I'm doing everything with honesty, till the time I can be honest to everyone in that dressing room. Not only one or two, everyone, from the masseur to the assistant coach. Till the time I'm honest to everyone, I can look in their eyes and I can talk to them, looking in their eyes. I think I'm doing a fair job with my position. And that is one thing which I can live with, and that is one thing that I can promise you in last 18 or 20 months, whatever my tenure has been, I think that is something that I can live with.
Champions Trophy, Champions Trophy win, Asia Cup win, World Cup win. 2 ICC trophies and 1 Asia Cup, which is high pressure, in 12 to 14 months. I don't think any coach can boast of that record in white ball. Have you cracked the white ball code, you reckon?
Look, I haven't. I think I've said it long back as well. A coach or a captain only is as good as his team. I haven't. I think the players have. I think players make me successful. Yes, I try and help them out in whatever knowledge I have. But again, I think it's everyone in that dressing room. I think we need to change that ideology. I think I've been trying, and most of us have been trying to change that ideology and that philosophy, that in a team sport, that everyone in that dressing room has made a contribution. Everyone, in whatever capacity they could. And that's why I feel the success needs to go to everyone in that dressing room, from the masseur to the support staff, to the logistic guy, to the assistant coaches, batting, fielding, bowling, everyone, to the players as well. For me, I think everyone has been absolutely honest, and this success exactly goes to them as well. And when you talk about whether I've been able to crack the code, I think all I've done is try and probably tell the players to be absolutely fearless. From day one, I remember when I took up this job, the first thing I said that I'm not going to fear losing a game of cricket, to win a game of cricket. Because sometimes when you fear losing a game of cricket, you will never win. And even in my press conference, I said that gone are those days that we're going to play a game that is going to be around 150, 160. I'm absolutely fine. In fact, getting all out for 100 or a 90. But we got to play high risk, high reward. We got to try and get to 250, 260 consistently. And there will be days where you will, for example, a game like South Africa, we got bundled out, what? We lost the game by 70 or 80 runs. But that is okay. That is fine, because when you play high risk, high rewards, sometimes these things can happen. But again, I feel that cracking the code is not something which I believe in, because if we would have cracked the code, we wouldn't have lost 2 ODI series in last 3. Yes, I can sit here and talk about the white ball success and all that stuff, but I don't shy away from practicality. I don't want to hide away from practicality as well, because I think losing 2 out of the last 3 ODI series, we still need a lot of work to be done in that format.
Red ball? Gautam Gambhir is defined by fight. When I see red ball, India has not had the best results. New Zealand series, recent series against South Africa, the England series was tremendous. I mean, I was there for the all 2 matches, all 2 months. India exceeded expectations, but at home results have not gone your way. I'm sure in your mind you've already started formulating from August onwards. What are your red ball plans?
Look, first of all, I don't agree to one thing. When people compare the team that played against New Zealand to the team that played against South Africa, that's not fair. I think people need to do their job properly, because the team that played against New Zealand at home was a completely different team to the team that played against South Africa at home. Yeah, just because you want to collaborate both the series, that's not fair. Yes, you can put me under the pump, that's fine, absolutely acceptable. But you see that playing 11 and you compare that playing 11 to the playing 11 that played against South Africa. You see the experience during that New Zealand series and you see the experience during the South Africa series. Just because I have not spoken about the transition in the past doesn't mean that the transition is not happening. I think if you expect honesty in that dressing room, at least people in that dressing room expect honesty outside as well. Honesty cannot be one-sided. It has to be both ways as well. Selective criticism is not fair. You see the experience that this red ball team has right now. There are 22, 23-year-old boys trying to find their feet in red ball cricket, which is never easy. And when you're replacing people who've played more than 100 test matches, it is never going to be easy. So give them some time. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to criticize the support staff, that's fine. It is my responsibility, results are my responsibility. I will be the first one to put my hand up and say, yes, we haven't got the result, but this is the same team that has got unbelievable success in England. It's the same team. When we spoke about that England probably is going to be the toughest tour for us as a young team going there, a lot of people gave us a chance that we're going to deliver in England, but see what this young team did. So when you're going through a transition, there will always be ups and downs as well. But all I can say is that keep backing them, because this is your team, and honesty has to be both ways. We try and be as honest as we can, because we know that we represent 140 crore Indians, but we also in that dressing room expect honesty from the other side as well, and that backing from other side as well. And I have no doubt that red ball cricket, yes, we'll be fine in future as well, because there's so much talent in that room. Yes, Boria, you've covered cricket for a very, very long time. Test cricket is tough. It's not an easy transition. One day or white ball cricket is a much easier transition, a much easier way to probably build your one day or a T20 squad as compared to red ball squad as well. So for me, I think going forward, I'm pretty confident that these boys, if they keep working the right way, keep working hard, I think we're going to be fine going forward.
When you said support, and this is a very important point, when you say support, I think constructive criticism is acceptable to anyone, all of us in our own domains where we work, because we are in the public, people judge us. But unfair criticism or abuse is unacceptable. I mean,
sorry, just to, unfair, when I talk about constructive criticism and when I talk about unfair criticism, that's the reason why I said that when you compare the team that played against New Zealand to the team that played against South Africa, then people should know that how much experience did we had against New Zealand and how much experience did we had playing against South Africa as well. So if you talk about the performances, fair enough, but if you collaborate both the teams, I think it's very unfair on the boys as well. It is fine to criticize me, but it is very unfair on everyone who's playing for India, who's playing red ball cricket, to collaborate both the teams, which is, I feel that is not fair to do.
And on just an extension of that, I mean, the moment the Indian cricket team loses one game, and I've been through this myself during my own controversy, you know, all hell breaks loose and people start to abuse, question parentage. There is trolling on social media, which provides poison a platform. In your case, you have been subjected to that as well. Does it impact you? Because you've got young kids, you've got a family. These are important points. I'm sure you will say, no, it doesn't matter to me. But what about your children? What about your wife? This is a family where this kind of social media poison can trigger serious mental health issues for anyone. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, it's tough on the family as well. And that's why I say that I'm a human as well. And all I can live with is absolute honesty. And I don't want to go out there and defend myself and saying that my honesty one day will defend itself. And more importantly, social media, see again, I think I can still handle that, but I feel that for the family and for the kids, it's unfair, because I don't think so that it has been portrayed at times that everything that I do is not right, but that's not fair. But again, I think for me, my accountability is not towards social media. My accountability has never been towards social media. My accountability is towards everyone sitting in that dressing room. And more importantly, my accountability is towards every Indian who does not have any vested interest in Indian cricket. As simple as it can get. And it will always remain. My accountability is towards that young boy who comes to the stadium, and if we can send them back home happy, I think that is where my accountability lies. My accountability lies towards 30 people, 35 people in that dressing room, and it will always remain that way. My accountability is not, honestly, my accountability is not towards those likes, dislikes, the TRPs. That's not that's not what I've been appointed as head coach for. I've been appointed head coach so that we can get the results, we can make India proud, and more importantly, we can get the smile on everyone's face. That is where my accountability lies, and even in future, it's going to be that way.
When we are talking about accountability, I mean, and again, I go back to your tweet. You said at an appropriate time I will talk about it. When these kind of groupings are put out in the public domain, Gautam Gambhir is against Virat Kohli, Gautam Gambhir is against Rohit Sharma. Do these things even become relevant in the change room? Do you all talk about such stuff at all, saying this is rubbish, or do you address in personal terms? Because frankly, you all are all larger than life figures, right? This is a country of 140 crores where each one of you are worshipped. A Virat is worshipped, a Gautam is worshipped. And people will have egos. Do these things matter? Do they become relevant at all?
See, from my side, I don't think so, because I feel that I don't need to clarify everything and anything that is said on social media. And that is not something that I'm going to work for, because my job is much larger and much bigger than addressing all the social media stuff that goes around. And that's why I keep saying that, and I remember I said that in the press conference as well, that it is not my Indian team. It is not only people sitting in that dressing room, it's their Indian team. It is you guys as well. We represent you guys as well. It is your Indian team. That Indian team doesn't belong to one individual. It doesn't only belong to players, it belongs to everyone. When we go out there on the cricket field, we try and make you guys proud, and we try and make this country proud. So every allegation and criticism and people working for TRPs and the numbers and the clicks and the views, if I start clarifying everything day in, day out, I don't think so I could stay there even for a day. I cannot. So yes, it is easier to say that cut the outside noise. But is that outside noise fair? You're only trying to degrade your own team. You're only trying to pull your team down. Is that fair on the boys? Is that fair on the dressing room? Is that fair on the Indian team? Because Indian team represents you people. So that's why I say that honesty should never be one-sided. It should always be, yes, I know everyone's got a job to do. You've got your own job to do. There are people here, there are journalists here, they want to do their job. They're under a lot of pressure, as like we people are under pressure. But at least there has to be some accountability somewhere. So that's why I say that if you want to report something with responsibility. Because it should never happen where you try to to pull your team down. That is unfair. So hopefully in future, things can change, and I feel that not too long in future that these things can get better.
गौतम, आप ये बताएं, I mean, हम जब इंडिया पाकिस्तान देखते हैं, we build it as, final before the final, etc., etc. Under you, Asia Cup 3 times, Champions Trophy, this current, this one, it has been a one-sided contest. Surya said to us at the press conference at the Asia Cup that you call it a rivalry when there is real fight. Is India-Pakistan now more media hype? Is it us for our headlines? Or in the change room, is it more an England or an Australia or a South Africa? When you're playing Pakistan, do you know at the back of your mind that you're actually a much better team?
I don't take those. I don't think so. I think we got to respect, we need to respect every opposition. We need to be ruthless on the field, but more importantly, we got to be humble. But I don't see that there is no more a rivalry. Yes, we want to play a brand of cricket, what we want to play like, but I don't, whether we play Pakistan, whether we play Bangladesh, whether we play any opposition. Look where we were against US. We were 70 for 7. And that's why I say that humility is so important in sport. We keep working hard, we want to be ruthless, but more importantly, I don't believe in such statements where there is no rivalry. There will always be rivalry, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's Australia, whether it's England. We want to keep getting better. That is something that has got to be important, rather than thinking what the opposition looks like. If we keep getting better, if we keep upgrading our skills, if we keep upgrading our mental stuff, I think that is something we need to set a benchmark for our own self, rather than thinking of the opposition.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Sanju Samson call? Because, 3 games, 90, 90, 90. completely transforming everything, and all of us feel good. He comes across as a great human being. Can you tell us a little bit what prompted the Sanju Samson call once again to get him back at the top, and then the success?
Look, I know a lot of people must have thought about just to split the three left-handers at the top, but that was never the case. We wanted a more explosive guy at the top because the kind of brand of cricket we were playing since last 18 months, we felt that if we can get more explosiveness at the top, I think that's going to help give ourselves the best chance to win probably the World Cup. And that's the reason we always knew the quality that Sanju Samson had. We always knew that if he gets going, obviously he's going to make life much more easier for a middle order as well. And luckily, I think, fortunately, that happened. It was never to do about splitting the three left-handers and all that off spinners and stuff, because I feel that if you're a quality player, I think you should be able to deal with any kind of bowler in the opposition, whether it's the off spinner or a left-arm spinner. But I felt that Sanju, someone who's got three T20 hundreds before the World Cup, you can't just keep him on the bench for too long. Obviously, he went through a tough phase against New Zealand, but that's okay. People go through those kind of lows, and you can understand that someone who's just got picked for the World Cup, he wanted to make it into the playing 11. He was so desperate to be part of the playing 11, sometimes putting himself under a lot of pressure as well. So giving someone a break for a couple of games and always trying to get him back into the top three, I think was something that worked for us. Then he's got, obviously we know the kind of talent he has, and hopefully he can kickstart his career from now on and probably reach another level coming in future as well.
I know 27. I know you were initially thinking till 2027, but now that you've won back-to-back T20 World Cups, will 2028, the LA Olympics, be something that Gautam Gambhir will set his eyes on? Will the Olympic gold be something, that gold medal around your neck at LA along with your players? Is that something you will think about or have started to conceptualize or think about in your subconscious mind? How important is the Olympic Games?
How important is Olympics? Olympic Games are very, very important. But मैं तो हर मैच हारने के बाद सैक होता हूँ. So I'm sure ये 3 महीने की सिर्फ शांति है. उसके बाद again I think people will start talking about it. I don't think so people will look at me even till 2027. But again, I think my job is to go out there and try and keep delivering, keep being honest to the players. And yes, whether I'm there, whether I'm not there, I think Olympics is going to be important. Olympic gold is as big as winning the World Cup. I've said it before as well. For me, I think if India can go on to, especially the cricket team can go on to win the Olympic gold, I think it's going to be as big as winning the T20 World Cup.
If you're asked by the BCCI to stay on?
I don't look at that far, honestly. I think you guys will start judging me by what? By the World Test Championship, whether we qualify or not.
No, that's right. I mean, let's not confuse formats. T20 World Cup, Gautam Gambhir has taken it. Champions Trophy were 50 overs. T20 Asia Cup and this one, you have done it. Now, if the BCCI requests you, stay on, steer this team to the Olympic gold. Yes, no?
Look, I would love to be part of the Olympic winning team. I would love to be, because I've always believed very, very few privileged people get the opportunity to represent the country in Olympics. And if ever I get the opportunity, I think it'll be an honor. But again, I think I don't look that far ahead. I think the next challenge is World Test Championship and then obviously 50 over World Cup as well. And those are two challenges which are going to be there in future.
I've known you for 20 years and you consider me a brother. We exchange messages when we are down, both of us. And I want to put this on record. When I was down with the controversy, I don't want to go into that. This is not that session, it's Gautam's session. Gautam Gambhir and I would be in touch on a regular basis on WhatsApp, and he would be with me on the call, Dinesh Chopra, Gautam Gambhir, as many times as I had requested. Personal gratitude on behalf of the family. Putting that on record.
Thank you.
So I know you. If there's one event I would want you to kind of win, is the Olympic Games. I've done 6. There is no parallel. Win that for India, because we don't win a gold. Even the last games in Paris, we had a silver. So stay on and win that gold for us. Stay on.
Thank you so much.
50 overs. 2011 was the last when we won, Gautam. Your 97 steered the game. 2027, South Africa. Saurav was doing an interview with me for this conclave, and he said, that'll be Gautam Gambhir's real challenge. He's a fantastic white ball coach, but South Africa will be his real challenge. Have you given it any kind of thought?
Look, there has been challenges in my tenure. You see, Test matches in Australia was a challenge. 5 test matches against England was a challenge. Champions Trophy was a challenge. T20 World Cup was a challenge. Yes, South Africa is going to be completely different conditions. South Africa is going to be a completely different challenge as well. But still, we've got 1.5 years from now on. And hopefully, we can try and build up to that 50-over World Cup, because the preparations will eventually start as soon as possible. The sooner we start, the better we're going to give ourselves the opportunity to try and win that tournament as well. Because obviously, as you just mentioned, that India hasn't won the 50-over World Cup since 2011. I can't sit here and say that we will go on to win the World Cup. I don't work that way. But we'll try and give ourselves the best chance to be very competitive in the 50-over World Cup. That is something that I can assure, and we've got the talent. White ball cricket, India will never be short of talent. Hopefully, we can, once the IPL finishes, we can set ourselves for that one big tournament, which is going to be in 1.5 years from now.
I've asked you quite a few news questions. Nick, we've still got time, lots of time. So one digression. This hotel, I was told, this hotel, fond memories, this city, fond memories. Kolkata, Gautam Gambhir, adopted son, special?
Look, first of all, I don't think so that I'm an adopted son. I think Kolkata had given me so much love that I can never be. The more I say thanks, the lesser it is. And actually, Kolkata made me the leader I am. If KKR wouldn't have given me that opportunity in 2011, people wouldn't have, or I couldn't have achieved what I could with everyone, what we could achieve as a KKR captain. That is something which Kolkata has given me, and I will relish this for the rest of my life, because the amount of love that I've got from people of Kolkata, hopefully we've been able to give it back to the people, because Kolkata needed identity. Kolkata needed that win, needed that, because the kind of support KKR has got from the people, the kind of loyalty people have shown towards KKR, even during the initial first 3 years when KKR was struggling. I remember when 2011, when I came here, first time as a captain, a lot of people said a lot of things, it's going to be tough and stuff, but the amount of love people have given me, I think I've got the same amount of love when I was in Delhi as well. So I don't think so that I'm the adopted son. Hopefully I've become the son now.
Nice. Nice. You mentioned leadership. Am I right if I say that you as coach of KKR also has made Gautam Gambhir the head coach? I mean, that journey, winning the IPL, that kind of prompted you to be, the chosen one for the BCCI. Will you attribute that? Because you as India coach, if somebody asked me 5 years back, I would say no. Gautam Gambhir as India coach, not in my radar. And then if you remember, I was the one who wrote on 15th of May, and you denied, rightly, because you didn't want to give me the story. That's a different matter. But 15th of May, when that coaching thing was there, I said, you should be India coach. Can you tell me, did you think at any point, 2 years back, you would be coach of India?
No, I didn't. Honestly, it was a privilege, and I remember that during that tenure, when I came back to KKR after 7-8 years as a mentor, and then when KKR started doing well, I got a call from Jai Bhai that this is what you need to take. You need to be the head coach. And I, at that time, was not ready for it, because I had never been the head coach of any franchise, any team. I've never been the head coach. I've always been the mentor. And I remember how big a challenge it was, because being a mentor is completely different to being the head coach, and that also of the Indian cricket team. But sometimes what fun there is in life if there are no challenges. And I felt that if I have the honesty, if my heart is in the right place, if I know what I feel for Indian cricket, and I should take up that challenge. And probably, yes, Kolkata did play a huge role in me getting that job, because if I wouldn't have got back to KKR, if we wouldn't have done well, probably I wouldn't have been in that position where I am right now. So for me, I think, yes, Kolkata or KKR has been extremely lucky to me, whether it's from the leadership point of view or whether me being the head coach now of the Indian team.
Special relationship with Shah Rukh Khan, Kolkata?
Look, I have a special relationship with Kolkata. I think that is something that is important. Yes, I have a very good relationship with SRK as well, but for me, I think the relationship, the emotion that I have for the city of Kolkata will always remain, and something like that will always remain very close to my heart. And I've said it, that the amount of love I've got, the amount of support I've got, they've never left me, even during my bad times as well. I remember in 2014, when I started that journey with 3 ducks and 1 run in first 4 games, we got back to India and we started winning. The amount of support we got, we needed 7 wins out of 7 to qualify for the playoffs. We went on to win that year after winning 9 in a row. I remember the kind of support coming back to the same hotel and the amount of love I got. No amount of thank can be enough for the people of Kolkata and for KKR as well.
Tell me something, Gautam. I mean, when you have a player like a Jasprit Bumrah, freak, best in the world, all of us say that, incredible talent, and then you're told medical advice is, okay, 3 test matches, not 5, or that'll be a risk. As head coach, I mean, in England, for example, all of us were like, "Arey, why is Jasprit not pushing himself? Why is Gautam not telling him, play 4, such a series on the line?" You have someone who you can perhaps use for that one win, you can push a little bit. How do you deal with that dilemma? No, I will give this guy the space. There is medical advice as well. At the same time, a series can be on the line. How challenging is dealing with someone who is that good and his medical condition for a Gautam Gambhir?
Look, it is challenging. I'm not going to say that it is not challenging. You always want someone like Jasprit Bumrah playing all the games, especially those important games. For example, what you just rightly mentioned, the Oval Test match. But you got to start listening to your medical team as well. You got to trust your medical team as well. And sometimes you can't put a player's career online. I think just because it's a crunch game, just because we are under pressure as a team, I have no right to put someone's career online. So we got to look at from that point of view as well. I know everyone spoke about it during the Oval Test match, that why can't we push Jassi to play another Test match? But it wasn't fair because we had already decided before the start of that tour that he's going to play 3 Test matches, and fair to him. And that's the reason why we had picked him to play 3 Test matches. And rather than criticizing or rather than creating a controversy around that, I think we got to understand from his point of view as well that being a fast bowler is never that easy. And we need someone like Jassi playing for as long as possible and as many formats as we can. But again, something like that, I have to be very clear. I have to be very straight in that point of view, that not at any point of time, just because I could feel the heat or I'm feeling the heat or we are under pressure, that I put someone's career online.
Spin? India and spin, we were great players of spin. There's so much talk these days that we don't play spin that well. Foreign teams using IPL, their players play in India for a long time. They're using spin against India, off spin at the start, etc., etc. Have we kind of diminished in terms of our ability to play spin? Is it because the foreign players play in India for far too long? Your thoughts, or do we need to improve? Is it about domestic cricket, conditions, India and spin?
Look, rather than us talking about the overseas players coming to India, doing the IPL and getting better at playing spin, I think we got to get better playing at spin. I'm not going to say that the overseas players have got better. I think we got to keep getting better as well. And I think I'm not going to blame the players because we don't get enough time to prepare before the test series. That is something we got to work.
May I ask that? Because, for example, Australia, you all played a white ball match and then you landed in Calcutta for the WTC match against South Africa. You didn't have more than 3 days or 4 days. It's kind of inhuman, these kind of schedules. And you had to play a test match at the Eden Gardens. Different conditions, different mindset, different format. South Africa was playing in these conditions much more than you. You were playing in Australia. How is that fair on the Indian cricket team?
Yeah, that's spot on. And that is something which we got to change in future as well, that come the test series, we got to start giving more importance for the preparation before the test series as well, because preparing for a white ball series is far more easier than preparing for a red ball series as well. And that is something which we've probably lacked a little bit in the last 2 series at home. Yes, there was West Indies and then there was South Africa, but going forward, I think that is something which is on the cards, that we got to start preparing better. And I think BCCI has been very supportive on that front, that at least 10 days or 7 to 10 days camp there has to be before every test series, because it's not fair on the players as well. People from the outside will only look at results. People from the outside can only talk about, oh, we lost to South Africa. But you got to understand that we came back from Australia. It's not an excuse, but that's the reality, that's the fact as well, that we came back from Australia. We had only 2 days to prepare before the first test match at Eden Gardens. And imagine how much pressure the boys would be under. They've not played red ball cricket for 2 months, and they're suddenly getting and playing against the likes of Rabadas and the Marco Janssens. So for me, I think that is something which all of us have realized. You always learn from your mistakes as well, and hopefully in future you could see something like that changing very quickly.
Gautam, that's a very important point. And again, that's very Gautam, you know. I mean, acknowledge what needs to get better. That's introspection. So I think that's what defines this man, that if there is a problem, he will not shy away from the problem, rather he'll address the problem. When I look at this current Indian team, Gautam, I have to say this, that the leader that I now see in Shubman Gill for Test cricket has to be attributed at least partly to Gautam Gambhir. Getting him to bat at number 4 in England, scoring 750. What prompted you to take that call to get Gill to bat 4? A position Sachin Tendulkar and the greatest players have taken that. What prompted that from the top? And Shubman Gill as leader, what according to you stands out?
Look, first of all, it was just a combination. We felt that we needed a bit of experience in the middle order, because when you're going through a transition, when a lot of new boys are coming through in red ball cricket, you wanted a bit of experience. We have someone like a KL Rahul at the top who's got experience of opening the batting, and we needed someone like Shubman Gill who's played, close to 40-50 test matches. So rather than having a very inexperienced middle order, if Shubman can come at number 4, and it's going to give him a bit of a breathing space as well, especially leading in a test match when you're on the field for 1.5 days. You want to come back and you want to just probably freshen yourself up mentally and then just give yourself a breathing space. And we all know the kind of quality Shubman had, and there was no surprise that what he did in England and against West Indies as well. A guy has got close to 1,000 runs in 7 test matches, which is incredible for any young guy achieving so much of success when he was made the captain. And again, I think I've said it before that he's ticked all the boxes. He works really hard, he says the right things, he's honest to the players, he keeps the environment light, and that is exactly what coach wants in a captain. Yes, obviously he's a work in progress, like any other person. When you're captaining a red ball team and you're captaining a test side, it is never easy. It is far more easier to captain a T20 or a one-day side as compared to the red ball team, and he'll keep getting better as well. And hopefully going forward, we're going to see the best of Shubman, not only as a player, but as a captain as well.
Last few minutes, last 10 odd minutes, and then I'll take 2 questions and we'll close the session in about, say, 1:15 or so, because we have plenty of time for lunch. You know, when you mention Shubman Gill, we'll go to New Zealand, again, a country that we've hardly won. I mean, some months from now. You will be playing, and look at this calendar. You will be playing in England, then you come back and go to the Dust Bowls of Sri Lanka. You will be playing white ball cricket all of June, not all of June, half of June and all of July in England, and then Dust Bowls of Sri Lanka. How do you manage? Then you will go to New Zealand in October, November in the complete green, whatever. And then we will question you saying, hello, red ball results are not going our way.
But that's the beauty of international sport. That's the beauty of giving yourself the best chance to prepare. And as you just rightly mentioned, the challenge in Sri Lanka will be a completely different challenge to when we go to New Zealand, and will be a completely different challenge when Australia comes to India for a 5 test match series. That's going to be huge as well. And that's why I said that if we can prepare better for Sri Lanka or for New Zealand as well, that is going to give us the best chance. For example, when we went to England, we had a 10-day camp before the start of the first test match, and you could see the results as well. And I think guys will adapt very quickly as well, because in today's day and age, if you don't adapt, then it's going to be very difficult for you to get the results as well. And hopefully, come Sri Lanka and New Zealand, we should be absolutely prepared to get the results in our favor.
You are not that kind of a social media person, at least I know like that. But your exchange with Mahendra Singh Dhoni broke the internet. Tell me about it. Instagram, Gautam Gambhir and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, that thing, that was as big as the World Cup. I mean, the whole country got behind you.
No, actually, good on him to come and watch the World Cup final. Good on him to ask me to smile. And I wish one day he could be in my position and I can.
This smile is for him?
Yeah, absolutely.
This smile is for
and
Mahendra
hopefully
Singh
one
Dhoni.
day he could be in my position and I can write the same thing. And hopefully he can smile from the dugout. But again, good on him.
Nice. A word on the BCCI and Jai Shah. It's been hugely supportive. Jai, for example, multiple times in personal conversations with me also, and the BCCI in tough times, they've been fully supportive of Gautam Gambhir.
Especially Jai Shah. I think Jai Bhai has been very supportive. Not many people trusted me with this job, and I very well know this for a fact that I didn't have the experience of being the head coach. His call to me to ask me to be the head coach was an absolute honor, privilege, and more importantly, I think I've seen a lot of lows, and I don't hide away from that. I've seen the lows of New Zealand. I've seen the lows against South Africa as well. And when you go through the lows, you don't see any messages on your phone. For example, that's the beauty of our profession. When you win the World Cup, you get 1,000 messages on your WhatsApp. When you lose, you don't get a single message on your WhatsApp, and very few people call you during that time. Jai was one of the guys who called me after both the series, whether it was New Zealand or whether it was South Africa. He knew that how down I would be. So sometimes when you remember someone calling you in those moments is something which I can always be thankful and grateful to him. And more importantly, I think whether it's him, whether it's BCCI, they've been very, very supportive. They've given the free hand. They want Indian cricket. And more importantly for Jai, I think his heart is in the right place. He wants Indian cricket to do well. I remember when I was appointed, he was the secretary, and how much he wanted Indian cricket to do well, and he wanted Indian cricket to win. And that is something which all of us should know. So all I can say is that my gratitude and thanks to Jai for whatever he supported so far till now.
Gautam, when you sort of go forward and pick a team, now with sports science we know, say, fitness has improved, people have added a couple of years, we see tennis players, we see a Novak Djokovic still beating a Yannick Sinner. When I see a Virat Kohli, he's fit. Is it only performance that decides who plays on for India? Is age ever a factor? Is it something else? When Gautam Gambhir sits down with the selection committee, what is the only yardstick? Because there's so much talk around that, oh, you know what age, people need to be phased out, etc., etc. Can you give us an insight about your thoughts?
Look, there's a combination of everything. I won't say it's only the performance, it's the fitness as well. We want to be the fittest team in the world. The more fitter you are, the more mentally strong you are. As simple as it can get. People can talk about that, how do you get mentally strong? The only way you can get mentally strong is by getting physically strong as well. And it's the combination, what kind of a players do we want in those conditions? Come the 50-over World Cup, how much experience do we want? How much flair do we want? How much aggression do we want? What kind of bowlers do we want? So it's a combination of what kind of people or what kind of players can succeed in those conditions, because mind you, it's not playing in India. The conditions in South Africa during early stage of the season, I think it's going to be the early season there, the start of the early season, so the conditions are going to be much different to what normally you get back in December, January. So I feel that it's going to be a combination of everything. Hopefully we can try and get the right combination before the World Cup.
Data versus instinct. There's so much reliance on data. I see 25 support staff with computers sitting and deciding. You've taken quite a few calls on instinct. Is it data versus instinct these days?
I have taken all the calls on my instinct. I haven't taken a single call on data. I swear, I haven't taken. That's why I said that I'm a human, I should be allowed to make mistakes. Because I've always believed that my instincts is far stronger than the data. And data can be misleading as well. Sometimes when you talk about strike rates, sometimes when you talk about strike rates, the dot balls, he's a good new ball bowler, he's a good death ball bowler. You got to look at the situation and the conditions as well. So for me, I think I've never looked at data. You can call the video analyst and you can ask, in last 18 months, I've never gone to his room, I've never spoken about any data. All I've looked at is, or listened is to my instincts.
Last couple from me, and then I'll open up for two. One, when you look back at your tenure, if I ask you to tell me one thing that you would want to do different in the years to come, at least in the next year and a half, and like I said, I would want you to continue till at least September of 28, till the LA Games. If there's one thing that you would want to change, I know you want more preparation for red ball. Anything else?
One thing I would want to change is not what I want to do in the dressing room. One thing I would definitely want to change is the media and people should start calling players underrated. There is no one underrated. When you represent your country, they should never be called as underrated. They should never be undervalued, underappreciated, and undershown. TRPs should not decide how much airtime you should get, because everyone that represents the country has worked extremely, extremely hard to be there where he is. And for example, for me, Arshdeep is as important as Jasprit Bumrah. For me, Shivam Dubey is as important as Hardik Pandya. For me, Abhishek or Surya Kumar Yadav is as important as Ishan Kishan. And that should be the case with everyone as well. That is one thing which I want should change in India. In a team sport, yes, individuals are important. In a team sport, individuals will always be important, but not beyond a team. That is what team sport is all about. So stop calling people underrated. Stop calling their contributions underrated, because there is nothing called underrated. It's all undershown, undervalued, and underappreciated. So start appreciating everyone. Everyone that makes a contribution to help your team win. Your social media following, The numbers that you get, the clicks, the views that you get should not define who gets more important and who gets less important. Everyone in that dressing room is important because everyone goes out there to represent you people. That's one thing I would want to change, and hopefully by the time I finish my tenure, that thing will change. That's going to be the biggest success of my tenure, not the trophies. I promise you, not the trophies. That is one thing I would want to achieve during my tenure.
Is the Indian dressing room, what you just said for us, in fact you said this, I think in a press conference, that the two boundaries of Shivam Dubey is as important as the 90, because these smaller contributions are as telling, because that's how the collective is formed. Is the change room coming around to what you just said? Is the change room now that united space where every little contribution, and there is no star, like there will be a big star or a huge brand out there, but is the change room believing in that team philosophy now?
Buria, tell me one thing. You spoke about two boundaries. Tell me how many people remember the last over that Shivam Dubey played in that World Cup final? He got a 24 in the last over.
Correct.
Yes.
8-26.
Yes, we can talk about Jassi's 4 wickets. We can talk about Sanju's 89. We can talk about Ishan Kishan's 50. Someone getting getting those 28 of 8 balls, just because that was 28, doesn't make his contribution lesser. So that's why I say that start appreciating every contribution, because people in the top 3 or top 4 will always have more opportunity to give you headlines. But it's the people who are playing at 6, 7 who gets very limited opportunity, they will create that impact. Their contribution will help you win. We couldn't have reached 255 if we wouldn't have got those 24 in the last over. We could have got restricted to 230, 240, and it could have been a completely different ball game. And it was the same against England as well. His contribution, his 45, Hardik's contribution, everyone's contribution at the back end. We could have easily got restricted to 220, and we could have been out of the World Cup. So that's why I say that the day we start appreciating every contribution and stop calling people underrated and their innings or their contributions underrated, I think that's going to be the biggest change in Indian cricket, and we will not have to wait for too long to win big ICC trophies.
Last one from me. Sport is about storytelling, and one guy, again, comes from the part of the country that he does, was out of favor for a while, was not part of the Indian team. Lots were written, lots were said. Look at the Ishan Kishan story and dreams do come true kind of thing. A word on that. I mean, the way you got him back and the contribution that he made, telling, and that gives people belief, normal people belief that, you know what, transformation is possible.
Well, I'll tell you, I won't talk about what he did in the World Cup. I think the one thing I want to talk about is that it's never easy to make a comeback. I've been in that situation many times in my career. You're far more nervous when you're making a comeback as compared to when you're making your debut. His first ball against Jacob Duffy at Nagpur, he smashed it down the ground for that one bounce 4. And that shows the character of the man. Making a comeback, what, after 2 years? 1.5, 2 years. First ball against New Zealand, if someone can smash it down the ground, that shows that the fearlessness, the ability, the character, and how quickly he had adapted to the philosophy of the team first philosophy. I wouldn't have minded even if he would have taken 5, 6 balls to get into that game. And that is something which is going to be important, and that's why I say that someone like Ishan Kishan, not because of the World Cup, the kind of World Cup he's had, but the kind of character he is. And that's why Indian cricket is very blessed to have so much of depth. Someone like Sanju, Ishan Kishan, we got a phenomenal white ball wicket-keeper batsman. And hopefully they can continue on this path, keep working hard, staying humble, and hopefully they can achieve a lot of success in future.
Fantastic. 2 questions. I want to go, yeah ma'am. Please, can we have a microphone there to the lady there? Let's get a microphone there to the lady. I wanted someone, because I don't want this to be a gendered discussion, so thank God. Very good. Ask. Perfect. Please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for being there for us. And I have a question. It is a kind of personal thing, which I felt like a conundrum when I was watching the match. that, sir, be it a coach, be it the captain of the team, when we are in a place where only last 6 balls are there, be it like India may be batting or bowling at the same time, so choosing the right player to bat and choosing the right bowler to bowl in the last over, how do you decide that? Because experience and the player who is in the form at the very time, there comes a confusion in between. So what is the main factor which you all go through at that very moment?
Look, first of all, that's one thing that we've done really well in last 18 months, that we've been very flexible with our batting order. Yes, there has been a lot of debate that how important is flexibility. Flexibility is very, very important. We've gone horses for courses. We felt that at some stage we need power in the middle, and that's why we promoted our big hitters at the top as well, sometimes making them bat at number 4, number 5, at number 3 as well. And that's just a very instinctive call. That's the call which the captain and the coach collectively takes, that who at that moment or in the situation is the best guy to get the results for us. And from the bowling point of view, obviously, we've got enough quality in our team that we can go to anyone. Obviously, Jasprit Bumrah is the leader of the attack, but then we've got someone like Ashdeep as well, who's brilliant with the in the death overs as well, who's brilliant in the middle overs as well. And then we've got Varun, we've got different options as well, Aksar as well. So for me, I think it's a lot instinctive that what we feel is going to work for us, especially during that moment.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Last one. I'm now up against it. Quick question, please, sir. Can we have the microphone there?
Good afternoon, Gigi bhai. Taking a cue from Boria's first line, you have been a World Cup winning player and a coach. Such incidents we have seen in football, but in cricket first time. 2007 final high score, 2011 final high score. Is that more satisfying, or the Champions Trophy winning team coach and World Cup winning team coach? What milestone?
It's a tough one. But if you ask me what is most satisfying is winning the Champions Trophy and T20 World Cup, not because it has happened recently, just because when you're playing, you can control your performance. When you're playing, you can control a lot of things in the middle as well. But as a coach, once the game starts, you got to understand that you cannot control a lot of things. You can give the most secure environment, you can work extremely hard. It's not like a mutual fund or an investment thing where you invest something and you look at returns. In sport, you could invest everything, and at the end of the day, you could come back with 0 return. And that is what the beauty of sport is. And that's why I say that sportsmen are very different to other professions, or sports is very different to other professions. So that's why I say that once the game starts, and if there is a lot in your hand, and you still achieve because of the players, because only it's the players that makes you successful or makes you fail as a coach. But for me, I think these 2 wins are extremely satisfying.
Okay. On that note, ladies and gentlemen.
Go for it. You want one?
Oh, okay. I'm Yeah,
Go on,
push.
push लीजिए, please. No problem.
No problem. I didn't see. Go on.
No problem.
Namaskaram, Mr. Boriaji and our Gambhir.
Absolutely.
Our hearty congratulations for
Thank you,
the
sir.
winning of our team in the World Cup. My small question, when we lost with the South Africa and we lost with England, when we went for the semi-finals with England, how was the morale of, as a team coach, and the morale of our team? How did you face
after
it?
losing to South Africa?
Yeah.
Look, nothing changed, honestly. I think as I just, at the start of this session when I said that whether it was Zimbabwe, whether it was West Indies, we knew that it's going to be, every game from there on will become a must-win game. It was a knockout game. So the knockout game, we got to try and be even more aggressive. And for me, I think the biggest strength this group in that dressing room has is not to fear losing a game of cricket. For too long, we felt that what if we make a mistake? For too long, we've been subdued. It's okay. Even if you lose, what worse can happen? Sun will rise again the next morning. What worse can happen? There'll be criticism. Someone will get sacked. That's okay. But if we start fearing losing a game of cricket, we will never go on to win a game of cricket. So that was a very simple message. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to drop catches. It's okay to play a bad shot. It's okay to play a bad ball, bowl a bad ball. More importantly, every time we're under any doubt, take the positive route. Try and be fearless, try and be more aggressive. That is something that is very important.